economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister elected president.
Access to our money to put in the bank. She said $3,000 is $1,000.
As always said, there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites, which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the government. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Welcome back. Rivers State government has denied claims by Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, that it blocked the Renewed Hope ambassadors from using the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Port Harcourt for a political rally. The denial followed Wike's remarks at the inauguration of senatorial and local government coordinators of the group, where he accused the state government of refusing access to the facility. Reacting, the state's Commissioner for Sports and Attorney General, Christopher Green, said no formal application was received for the use of the stadium, stressing that the facility is currently under reconstruction and unsafe for public events. He explained that ongoing works aimed at upgrading the stadium to international standards made it inaccessible, adding that alternative government-owned venues, including the Captain Elechi Amadi Polytechnic, were available and had indeed hosted the Renewed Hope event. Despite the controversy, Wike maintained that the Rivers State was leading other states in mobilizing support for President Bola Tinubu's re-election in 2027. He described the Renewed Hope ambassadors as a broad coalition cutting across party lines and insisted that political reward is tied to commitment, questioning the level of alignment of the state governor with Tinubu's re-election bid. At the event, several political leaders from both the PDP and APC, including lawmakers, party chairmen, and former officials, pledged continued support for Tinubu. They urged voters to back coalition candidates in the forthcoming by-elections, as Wike reiterated that Rivers would remain at the forefront of the Renewed Hope political mobilization. Asims, what do you make of this story?
I don't know, because I'm not in government and I'm not also privy to, the information available at the Wike's faction, the Wike's camp, And when I heard it that they were denied the use of the stadium, I was saying no. I thought we would have changed. We have gone off from this trajectory, the very infamous trajectory. Because I know that last time, I remember how the state was a lot of people were denied access to public facilities when SIM was campaigning for to be still two nations, they've killed, they spilled blood, etc. as case may be. But when they begin to sit down and reason, you now find out that they now say, okay, let's call it truth. Let's see if we can get a peace deal and move on. Because at the end of the day, after all the battle, you must still come back to peace. I've never seen where nations have war in eternity. It is after war you now have peace. Peace must come. After the First World War, there was peace. You had the United Nations that came, and the Second World War, the same thing, as the case may be. So these two parties, they need to, throw away, ego and whatever as the case may be, and begin to see how they can move forward, harmonize them. That is where I blame, some of these the elder statesmen or maybe main elder stakeholders on both sides. What am I talking about? If truly they are working for the interest of a common goal, like for Tinubu to get 2027 ticket, I see no reason why people like us in Okpara, who is on the governor side, people like Omehia, people like Lee Meba, who openly said that they support Sim Fubara and they are canvassing that Tinubu will go another 4 years. You understand? They share that same belief and interest. I see no reason why people like that cannot reach out to people like OCJ Okocha in the Wike's camp, people like Magnus Abe, and say, look, we have a common interest. Let us forget about all what is happening now, or let's see how we can resolve ourselves, and let us work harmoniously for the common good of our candidate. Now, if that is not done, the Wike faction will keep having their way, because they have kick-started. I was asking a question the other time. I said, you see, as this thing happened some days back, that Wike came with the ambassadors, renewed hope ambassador, etc. as case may be, is Sim Fubara going to launch another group with another name since he's supporting Tinubu, as the case may be? I believe that is going to create chaos. You understand the point now? In terms of aggregation, in terms of coming to alliance and coming together. Why have two different whatever when you are working together? So let them harmonize position. There's nothing wrong if you harmonize for the sake of Mr. A. Oh, because if not because of President Tinubu, I will not even talk to you, as case may be. We have seen situations like that will happen. You see, gentlemen and people who really believe in one particular cause can work together and throw enmity aside and say, okay, let our candidate win 2027. But I find out something that is sinister, in some of these things. Why Wike has been there working out and supporting Tinubu for the past 2 years or 3 years, because he said he's going to work with Tinubu right from 2023. That is the one I know. It's very straightforward. And he has done that in spite of, the hostilities he has gotten from his main party, PDP, and some people who do not support him. They have insulted, denigrated, disdained him because of the fact that he believes in his principle of working, to enthrone a Tinubu presidency and further enthrone another 4 years for Tinubu. So he has stood as a solid, rock, like the rock of Gibraltar behind Tinubu in terms of, say, I'm supporting this man. In the terms of the governor, as the case may be, it's only on pages of newspaper and, before the plague lights that I see they talk about renewed hope agenda. I have not seen any physical practice or proactive measures, or action taken by the governor, even with or without the Wike, ambassador ECC, for him to now move forward and say, this is the platform we have come in, and we are active, we want to be proactive, we are holding rallies for President Tinubu, as case may be. They will begin to say, okay, same, the governor has a group, Wike has ambassadors, let's see if we can put the two of them together to form a particular group, amalgamate or coalesce into one. He has not made any fronting, whatever. So I'm studying the situation because it's very moot. The side from the governor is very moot right now. I cannot really read their mood, and it's very difficult because Shakespeare said it is very, very difficult. There's no science in the world to read the construction of the man's heart, from whatever this like. I cannot predict the governor and his team at this point in time. I cannot predict them if they are for Tinubu or they are against Tinubu in terms of support in 2027. I cannot say, because they are not come out proactively, they are not come out reactionary to come and begin to say, no, I am doing this or whatever the case may be. I've not seen that happen. apart from, you know, the pages of newspaper, like I said before, or maybe that day that he defected, that he mooted the idea of supporting the renewed hope agenda. Outside of that, I don't see anything that he has done that will convince me that to show that at the end of the day he will not betray, you know, the emotions of those who are supporting Tinubu, who are thinking that he is going to support Tinubu at the end of the day. He may betray them, you know, because so with skepticism, I am just, you know, being let me say being pessimistic. The true nature and mind of the governor and his supporters, if at the end of the day they will stick with a Tinubu agenda or a new hope agenda, they have not shown signs.
Probably the governor is waiting to see how far the presidential intervention on this impeachment will go. Don't you agree?
Well, if you wait for that to be, like the man said, if you wait for a thing to be perfect before you act, you may grow old having never achieved anything at all. As the case may be now, if the government is waiting for this imbroglio to be settled or, you know, agreed upon, I don't think it will be very, very wise to do that. Because if you look at the actions for the presidency right now and the actions of, you know, Tinubu, from what I can gather and from information the governor passed to us, you know, through a media, whether it's true or not, but there was a particular news making the round that the governor was on air, I think on his Twitter handle or something like that, where he said or claimed that he never contested, or his candidates for the 2 slots of the House of Assembly by-election, that his candidates never contested the election against the Yesowike candidates. That it was a direct instruction he got from the president or the presidency, as the case may be, that he should allow Wike's candidate to say true. I don't know whether it is true, but that news became so prominent on air to the extent that even subnational, you know, radio station and television station analysts were hammering on it, that this is what the governor said, that the reason why those 2 candidates won, which are pro-Wike in the APC, is because of the fact that he was told to support those candidates. Whether it's true or not has not been verified by the governor or his media team. But if it is true, and Tinubu made such assertions or, you know, some claims or some such directives, he then be also say that Tinubu is looking with skepticism, you know, whether Simple Bada is truly for him. You understand? Whether it's truly for him. That is number 1. Number 2, we also heard that the party structure of APC has not been given in an envelope to him, you know, to begin to use to his own advantage. They have refused to, for instance, you know, e-registration is going on in APC now in all the federation. Yeah, and those who are leading those activities are the governors. But in Rivers State, there is nothing. I don't know.
It has been flagged off. It's Tonio Kocha.
Tonio Kocha that is doing that. The governor ought to be doing that, as the case may be. So they said the machinery of APC has not been given to it. That's number 2. The third one is that I heard that very clearly with my 2 eyes opened and my ears wide open like that of the antelope. I heard that very well when this man Opus Odima, you know, announced that there will be no Congress in about 3 states, and Rivers State was included. That is, APC will not have their Congress here, except things change. So maybe the national body and even the president himself, he is a very intelligent man. He might be looking at this and say, are you sure this man or this governor is in support? Are you sure this governor will not at the end of the day recount and maybe betray again, as case may be? These are the things bothering the mind of Tinubu right now. And there was also a rumor that the governor, you know, and his supporters are gearing to join the APC. I mean the ADC. You understand? As a what's it called? Alternative or second option. They have not debunked it. You understand the point? They have not really debunked it. So when you see situations, because at times in law, silence may be acceptance, you know, of things to come, or may be acceptance of a particular state of affairs. So if all these 4 or 5 scenarios I've listed, he's been found culpable and wanting, then it behoves that the president, who is very smart, knows and say, okay, please let us leave this man out, because it is better for you to deal with the devil than to begin to look forward to the angel you don't even know the character, whatever the case may be. And like Dr. Allegri has said before, and I said, Satan choose on the code of betrayer. A man who has betrayed before, people begin to look at you. That is the most funny thing about political betrayers. Legally, it's not binding. If you have a political agreement with anybody, it's not binding except it is stated in law. But if it's an agreement they call gentleman's agreement in politics, and you go ahead to renege on those agreements, you open your eyes, koro to enter and sign, and at the end of the day you back out. You understand? You might not be punished for it, as per maybe okay you go to jail etc, or you pay damages etc as case may be. But the political way to be attached to your support etc now becomes very shaky. Politicians don't forget. Politicians do not see things like that. They don't take it lightly. When you betray, they look at you. Is bothering the mind of the Nigerian politician, and I believe that is why you find out that maybe himself, the governor, knows that the president has not really trusted him to that extent, so he does not even want to waste his energy. He doesn't want to waste his time trying to create rallies in support of President Tinubu, whereas there are options open to him. At the end of the day, he might begin to support an Atiku Abubakar. Politics is a deadly game. Tables turn every minute in politics. So he might just wake up one morning, you hear the story that he's already working for Atiku Abubakar, because this man has not taken proactive steps for us to trust him that he really believes in the renewed hope agenda. As the case, he has not done anything at all. With the activities happening, Wike alone did everything. There should have been a kind of action,
trying to do something on their own part.
Whether you support or you create another one, let it be that we have parallel whatever, but on the same platform, then we begin to seek and say, okay, why can't you and this will join together? I think that should be the best place for us to start. But people mode is very dangerous at this point in time. The president is watching you. If you say you want to support him, openly support him. Don't go and be holding clandestine meetings with his enemies. At the end of the day, is going to bring down your political status and mileage. That is just it.
Now, with these assertions and analysis that you're giving, how do you see this affecting the governor politically from the angle of presidential intervention? You recall that you have mentioned once on this show that the governor defected to APC in order to save his political career.
Yes.
That defection was born out of political survival. And despite the defection, the impeachment hammer is still hanging over his head, right? And everybody is pleading on the president, oh, president, you need to intervene yet again, But with the analysis you've given now, tends to put the governor in a place of there might be trust deficit between him and the president, also considering that previous agreements were not followed through. Now, with what has happened and everything that has played out, and you're saying the governors, from what you have asserted, do you think, or how do you think this is going to play out for the governor before the president? Do you think this is going to push through his efforts to be saved by the president is going to be successful at the end of the day following this route?
The thing is that the president, according to what we have seen, is that, or from political circles, is that he has saved him a number of times, about once or twice now, when he tried to broker a truce between the two parties. If the president had not intervened, I'm looking at it that by now the governor would have been impeached. To be very honest with you, you know, the point is this: why you even see that the intervention of the president may have come is that, and the House of Assembly, they are following through the procedure, because we have never seen where House of Assemblies of state that want to impeach, they have followed procedure. Even the Balarabe Musa's case, that happened in 1983, the procedures were not followed stricto sensu. You understand? They knew that those procedures are very hazardous and at the same time convoluted and, you know, difficult to meet. You understand? So that was why you see that most impeachment took place outside of the constitution. The Fayose case, it was extra constitutional. In the Ladoja case, the same thing, because to meet those conditions are very, you know, stringent and long. Maybe it was the president that even said, okay, look, Mr. Wike faction, if you say you want to impeach, I've tried my best in this situation. If you say you want to impeach the governor, let it be through the normal procedure. That I can support. But if it's going to be extra constitutional, then I may not be in support of it. Maybe that's the reason why Martin Amehule decided to go through the normal, you know, procedural removal of governor of a state. Otherwise, nothing stopped them from getting to 26 members, you know, who say yes and yay. They would have just gone ahead and say, we have served, it's not responding, CJ is not, they impeach, and the state will be into more. You understand the point now? And they begin to run up and down. And in Nigeria today, when the sitting head of state or president is in support of such impeachment, nothing is done by the populace and the governor that is impeached. In the case of Ladoja, he ran a tasketa. He made some noise, as the case may be, but they had their way. In the case of Dariye, he had this thing, they had their way. In the case of Alame Siga, it was not followed due process, but they had their way. And this was because the sitting president, who incumbent president, was in support of those things, as the case may be. So that is the situation we find ourselves in Rivers State. Even in Anambra State, if not for Obasanjo that saved Ngige, you know, in Ngige, this a similar scenario played out like this. Chris Uba was the godfather to Chris Ngige. They even went to his shrine to go and, you know, do whatever his case may be. And Chris Uba then was close to the then president of Nigeria, which is Olusegun Obasanjo, courtesy of his brother Andy Uba, who was an SA, whatever, to the president, you know. So he was very close to the kitchen cabinet of whatever. So the younger brother Chris Uba felt he could do and undo because they were in power. Now they had to, when Ngige was not following the whatever they agreed, they had to take him out by force to the extent he was locked up in a hotel. You understand? But you found out that it was still the same Obasanjo that intervened and sent the AIG to go and, you know, get Ngige, the governor, out of that hotel, as the case may be. So the president's you know, factor and mantra in weighing into the rivers whatever cannot be overemphasized, and it cannot be ruled out. So the governor of Rivers State must either openly come out and tell the president, this is exactly, I'm supporting you, or not. But from what we are seeing, I doubt if the governor and his supporters are 100% for Tinubu. They are just biding their time and just using that as a cushion to see if they can get, you know, a relief to take them to where they want to be. But this is not their main plan. This is the way I've seen it, because I'm not seeing any action. There is no signal. It is signal and current is very, very weak, if it's even there at all. Otherwise, I would have said it is non-existent. Apart from just saying it, etc., I don't think they have killed him. I don't even think that the supporters of the government has even gone to discuss, you know, with the group handling the renewed hope or whatever, Nigeriana, as the case, Pax Nigeriana. I don't think they've done that. So it's really very, very, you know, murky. If me, that I am not into the thick of politics, could sense this kind of thing, then you talk about political, you know, gurus, political philosophers who know exactly, you know, the temperature and mood of politics as it is. Whether this governor is actually for President Tinubu, is something left to be desired, and is something left for him to prove that he is for Tinubu. Otherwise, if Tinubu decides politically, a sitting governor, a president of Nigeria, is one of the most powerful presidents in Nigeria. If that particular court of appeal, matter returns, and the verdict is that the CJ of Rivers State should set up that panel. That will be enough dignities for him. He may also return and they say, let them go and try. Let the court, lower court, hear the matter on his merit, as the case may be, or it may, be vacated. So it's a precarious time, for them, as the case may be. And the president has a role to play in all these things. And I am predicting also that whatever be the case, if this matter is not resolved between the House of Assembly and the executive, and any verdict that comes from the Court of Appeal, the 26 lawmakers, I am predicting, I'm trying to see like a prophecy, that they will not follow the law again. They will go out and out to make sure that they impeach Sim Fubara, whether covertly or overtly, legally or illegally, and face the consequences, as the case may be. Because it is better for you to be in hell, than to be in heaven, but you are in hell, as the case may be. So that is the situation. I'm seeing a scenario playing out, because nobody is trying to cave in. The governor is not saying anything. The legislator, they are not saying anything. So when the verdict of that court, the Court of Appeal, returns, I am saying that the consequences might be very, very cataclysmic, and the 26 members may say they are tired of following legalists, and they decide to go somewhere, and you hear breaking news that they have just impeached the governor, and before you know what is going on, you hear that the president is moot again. He has traveled to Greece or something like that, and before you know what's going on, there will be chaos and mayhem. But God forbid that does not happen, as the case may be. So let these parties come together and see let the president put his eye on Rivers State. It's a crucial state for you, 2027, as we say, because it's a state that you can easily maneuver. It's a state that you can also get your votes normally as you want, if truly people want to give it to you. All
right, very well. Moving on to PDP. National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Kabiru Tanimus Turaki, SAN, has described the Federal High Court ruling in Ibadan on the party's convention as academic, insisting it does not affect the outcome of the Ibadan convention. Speaking at a press conference, Turaki said the judgment neither invalidated the convention nor altered the leadership it had produced. He faulted the ruling, noting that the court declined to compel INEC to recognize the convention and allegedly granted reliefs not sought by any party. Turaki disclosed that the PDP has filed a notice of appeal and a motion for stay of execution, stressing that the judgment conflicts with existing court orders and decisions of courts of coordinate jurisdiction. Maintaining that the Ibadan Convention validly produced the current National Working Committee, Turaki urged party members to remain calm and focused. He said the ruling represents only a minor legal setback, assuring supporters that the PDP's rebirth process and preparations ahead of the 2027 elections remain firmly on course. Barrister Sims, what is your take on this?
Well, I don't know what to profile or periscope this, because if Turaki has given his own judgment, then why is he going to the Court of Appeal? Because in his statement that he has made, he said that court, the whatever is not binding, is not whatever. Then why is he going on appeal? You understand? If you can censor a judgment of a court with a wave of hand and in a press conference, as a senior lawyer, Turaki is a senior lawyer, a senior advocate ahead, is a senior SAN. So when you begin to, and that is what the MBA and even the body of lawyers have preached against, that you don't, when the matter is subjudiced, you don't need to begin to discuss the merit and demerit, on the pages of newspaper or on television. But he's done that now. He has said that, I heard him when he said, the court is named Father Christmas and they granted what they're not. Is that what we're supposed to hear now? But you are going on appeal, as the case may be. So, are you not against the rule of professional conduct right now? If it's a lawyer and it's not advocate for that matter. And SAN is supposed to maintain the highest standard of legal profession. But he has come on this thing to come and denigrate the judgment. Since the judgment was given, he has been on air, bringing down the court, etc. as the case may be. That is, for me, that is not something that is so good for a high-profile lawyer like himself. Now, coming to profile what is going on here is this. The judiciary, should be ashamed of themselves. in some of these things. I have found out that some of the problems, like we normally say, is that it is the courts, the judiciary, that has caused most of the political problems we have in Nigeria today. And I have advocated that let us not, matters of politics of this nature should not even come before the courts. If the party do not want to settle their matters, let the party fight and let the party go into oblivion, or fight and break their heads, as the case may be. Because the political matters in Nigeria is where the judicature has really fumbled. If you look at before political matters came into existence, the judiciary used to be the last hope of the common man. I saw where people were being convicted that the highest court, said no, it is not true, and they stood and said no, you can't take the man's life. Bello against the state is a popular one, even though the government at that time went to see execute those people, but the Supreme Court stood his ground till today that there is no law student that do not know Bello against the state. It was an appeal. If you look at the words that were used against the militaries at that time, if you look at how the judiciary of Charles Chukwurugo Puta, Justice Puta, Begori after Begori, Mohammed Ways, etc., how they denigrated and how they stood toe to toe with the militaries at that time. If you knew how they became the last of the common man, many people don't know that Dapa Briere House that the NDDC it was the courts that gave it back to the owner. That house along Abaro, many people don't know that it was the courts, because Abacha took it forcefully, that property, but the man went to court, and at the end of the day, the property was restored to him. It was judiciary that did that. But in this time, for the past 10 years or so, or thereabout, the judiciary has become, a tattered house. It has become a house of confusion. Why am I saying this? This PDP matter, the ex parte orders, interim orders, interlocutory orders, so many orders, etc., as the case may be. The issue of status quo ante bellum ante lite, we don't really understand again. We know the lawyers don't even know exactly what that means again, because of interpretations given by courts. How can a court of coordinate jurisdiction, that even elementary students of law know, that courts of the same, coordinate jurisdiction do not supersede or cannot even override the other one? How can they give conflicting judgments? If you look at the Wike faction, because PDP has 3 factions now. One is the Wike faction, the other one is Lamide Suledan faction, the third one is the Makinde faction. These 3 factions have all court judgments and orders, all from the federal high courts. How come in the same issue of leadership, in the same issue of caretaker committee, they have judgments and rulings in their favor or against them from the same different courts? So they do forum shopping. That is why you have this kind of cataclysmic results that we are having now. That even most lawyers don't even know where to start from to interpret, the judgments and rulings coming out from these state high courts. And most of them are interim orders, ex parte orders. Now, the PDP as a political party is dismembered and is no party again, is dead. But no problem, they still have their legal right to exist and legal right to existence. Now, the Wike faction came and said they have judgments of court and orders of court that says that PDP cannot do their convention until these particular orders are obeyed. That was the news and narrative. Before we knew what was going on, Makinde and Turaki and the rest of them went and said their convention is going to hold in Ibadan against that particular order of court, or those orders of court gotten by Yesoike, Mike Obi and the rest of them. That is, they have about 3 orders. Before then, Sule Lamido came with another order of court from the Federal High Court in Abuja, and now said that they cannot do that convention anywhere at all in Nigeria because his right was denied or buying form to participate in the election of PDP in that particular convention. These were existing and pre-existing orders of court. Before we knew what was going on, Makinde and this Turaki went to Ibadan and got an order, interim order from this another court of coordinate jurisdiction, Ibadan High Court, the state high court in Ibadan, that they can go on with the convention. The funniest thing about that was that the order of that particular court in Ibadan that was procured by Makinde and his group was an interim order, and within the interim order of the first 7 days, PDP held that convention. In that particular convention, a powerful member of that particular board walked out out of the convention and said he will not be part of all these things. The other people were complaining that this was not but Makinde said that they have a valid court order, and that is true. He has an order of another court. He now said this order gave them the premature to go and conduct the elections, as the case may be. Then these people now went to this justice what's the name, I forgot the name of Agomo. They went to before Agomo in Ibadan for the court to now give them a mandamus and a mandate for them to now become and take over the control of a PDP. You understand? That was where he now refused it. Now they are now saying that it was not part of the things that were part of the reliefs that were sought for, by the defender, because they are the claimants in this suit. You understand? They went to court for the court to interpret and do whatever the case may be. The thing now went against them. The court has said you can't do that he cannot even grant, he can't even touch this issue because you have valid court orders that were disobeyed by you before you did that convention. That is what this court is saying. And there's a little sanity from the court of Agomo. The Bible said that and reprimanded them and said the orders of Wike's faction, the court order of Lamido faction, and some other court orders, you neglected them and you went ahead to conduct, this your primaries, as the case may be, using the basis that you had an order from an Ibadan High Court to do that convention. Then you cannot be in illegality. Therefore, we cannot even say, go, you are the whatever as case may be. That what is there before him is that the people, that is the Samaya Technical Committee, should carry on. It's an internal affair. Let them carry on and do a proper convention where they and his group, the caretaker of the whatever. Because what Samaya is talking about is that they are not saying they are the substantive, executive of PDP, whatever the case may be, that they are caretaker. They are the ones who do the election. So who make them the caretaker? You see, so you find that in all of all these things, the judiciary is the institution to be blamed. Because the question I have asked is this: if the Supreme Court had made a pronouncement, why should any other court, tamper with that particular matter in the first instance? The second one is this: in a case where the Supreme Court has not ruled, then a judge sitting in chambers or in the court, he sees an application bordering on leadership of a political party, and he's a Nigerian who listen to television and watch television and who listen to radio and watch television and read newspapers. He has found out that, see, there's a court order or 3 court orders that is pending, and the application before me, these people have not even obeyed that order. Why would the judge say, look, I don't have jurisdiction to handle this matter, that I will not add to the existing orders that are conflicting? I will not add to it. Please take this matter out of my court for integrity's sake. This is abuse of process. This is abuse of process. You cannot come here. I am not that kind of judge who come before and come and forum shop. You cannot bribe me. You can't take my conscience. Why can't one judge stand out amongst the others? But every day we keep getting these orders from different courts in Nigeria here. It's sad. The CJN is not doing anything about it. That to reprimand even Mohammed Tanko, the late CJN, tried his best to the extent that he suspended 3 judges when they had issues in the Rivers matters at that time. There was a particular matter that they had a politics in Rivers State. 3 judges were suspended. 1 in Rivers State, 1 in Kebbi State, 1 in Cross River State. The Mohammed Tanko, had to, press the NJC to deal with those judges. The reason was because of the fact that they were giving conflicting orders, interim order, ex parte orders, etc., as the case may be. So they were very angry and sanctioned the 3 of them. I'm very sure that those 3 judges are still under the punishment right now. But this CJN has not done anything to call these new people, these new judges into order. That why should, in this PDP matter, for instance, some heads should roll, at the bench.
All right.
Because you have more than 8 others now from different courts. More than 8 others of the same court.
Court of coordinate
jurisdiction. So the CJN has to come into it and sanction both lawyers and the judges who are involved in these cases.
All right.
It's a sad one.
All right. Thank you so much, Asim Adams. It's a pleasure having you this morning. I wish we had more time to dwell on PDP crisis. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
And thank you so much, our viewers, for always staying with us. And this is where we round it up on this episode of Open Conversation. I remain Laurentia Ogu. I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. Bye for now.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and